Hey everybody, and welcome back to Game 5 of Lady of the Lake here on Master Site. We got the final game for Lady, and we're playing against the new 2023 Northern Alliance. So should be a lot of fun. Get to see a couple of new things, and for the first time on the table. We're playing against Josh Laffoon, who I originally had met in when he lived in Des Moines. Uh, we I don't know if we played each other once or not, but anyway, I met him back in second edition. He got married and moved to Alaska. His wife, I believe, is in the military, and then uh, recently, within the past year, has moved back to the Midwest or mountain region, technically. Um, and he lives out of Kansas City right now. So Josh is a real great guy, and he's coming off a pretty big win himself. He took best general at uh, the best of the rest, so he, I believe, went 5-0 there. And the new 2023 Northern Alliance was not valid or allowed at that event, but I think he kept his list very similar with some minor tweaks. So he's very good with Northern Alliance, knows what he's doing. So let's go ahead, hop into his list, and see what he's got for us. So 2023 Northern Alliance, he has a troop of half elf berserkers with the skirmisher boots. He has a troop of pack hunters. He has two regiments of icekin hunters, two regiments of tribesmen with the Hearthguard upgrade. So effectively two Huskarls, and they have the new Tundra Fighter upgrade, which will give them vicious against units that are frozen. He has a horde of tribesmen with Chalice of Wrath for Fury. He has two regiments of Ice Elementals to give out the chilling presence for his guys, and then they're also pretty good thick chaff. Three Icekin Bolt Throwers, an Ice Queen with Blizzard, a Thane with the Thalmar Stander and Tome of Darkness, so he has Surge 5, and Harim. So brings him out to 15 drops, 23 unit strength. There is the man himself, and he came up to Lady this weekend with his wife and son, who I believe is 2 years old or about to turn two. Um, so they had just gotten here. They had eaten some lunch, and they were at the Airbnb they were staying at, but they were driving back after the event, so they were hanging out at the event hall for a little bit. I think this might have distracted Josh a little bit. You know, having his son right there, who's picking up dice and trying to pick up his models and everything too, for a little bit of it. So, you know, we got a little assist on my end coming from his kid. So. Josh wasn't at the top of his game maybe with that distraction. So for this, Josh's list obviously has quite a bit of shooting with the three bolt throwers, two Icekin hunters, or pack of what are they called? Another troop of the ice pack hunters, or another unit that had bows. So I decided Invade is probably going to be a good choice. I want to get up there quickly if possible. And Josh chose the kill scenario because I have more unit strength than him. So with this, let's just touch on Invade real quick. So your Knight Champion counts as unit strength 2 for the scenario. You get 1 battle point if your Knight Champion is fully on the opponent's half. 1 battle point if you prevent your opponent's Knight Champion from being on your half, and 1 battle point if you just win the scenario. On kill, we've played that one once before, but one battle point if you destroy the unit in your opponent's army that has the highest unit strength. So for both of us, we each have a horde that's unit strength 4. You also get one battle point for winning the scenario and one for destroying double the unit strength. So double the unit strength is going to be always going to be tough in this one. And I think that destroying our highest point one's also going to be tough after we look at deployment here. So we're back on a familiar table. This is the same table that I played against Jeff Shulkin in game 2, and I got the same side as well. So terrain is going to be the same as that one. Large hill on the left with impassable, impassable, impassable. 4 forests, 1 tiny obstacle. Pretty straightforward. And deployment looks like this, and this is after I have redeployed and everything. So Josh started deploying heavily in this right corner with a lot of his unit strength, and then dropped the triple bolt throwers over here in the center. Yeah, I just kind of looked at this and was a little surprised. I think it's good for kill, maybe, but definitely not going to help him out with invade. Because if he pushes up past the center line, which is about here, he's just exposing flanks through this corridor. So I expect that invade scenario is just solidly in my control at this point. So I want to go kill some stuff just to get some points for the kill scenario, as well as attrition. Obviously, gives you some points, but I feel very comfortable at the beginning of this game and kind of looking at roughly my game plan to start. I feel like this one starts off the most in my favor as any other game at the event so far, which is a little surprising, but we'll see if we can execute here. So going in there, he has his triple bolters, he has his blizzard caster, and he has the troop of Icekin hunters behind. So very unique, peculiar, very unprotected. He has a regiment of Huskarls kind of overlooking them, but that's it. And then everything else is here. He's already scouted forward with his Icekin hunters to put their leader point in the forest. But the ice elementals are right behind that, the pack hunter behind that, the Elastiscarl unit that he has in the very back corner. His horde is well insulated and Harim's there. I think he also has his knight champions over here, his Thane with the rallies right there. So my redeploy saw me put one of my Pegasus characters right here because it happens after his scout. So after his scout, I measured, and this is 20 inches for me to be able to charge. Not knowing if I had first turn or not, I chose to put a Pegasus hero here instead of one of the generals, just because it is clear shots if he's shooting at them. So I wanted to, give myself that opportunity to shut down the shooting a little bit, but I didn't think I need to risk a general in order to do that. So. But my deployment: Spear Phalanx, General, Peg, Titan, Giant, other Spear Phalanx, Rally from the Captain, Giant, Cav, General, Peg, both bolt throwers. My Knight Champion was right there too. See, and then Bowman Horde, and then these militia mob were pretty early dropped. Seeing him deploy in the corner, I was just putting him out here, thinking, well, if he puts something across from me over here, that's probably good. I'm splitting up his units, and if not, that's just 4 unit strength between both of them for the invade scenario. And then I ended up deciding to put my horde out here as well for two purposes. One, obviously, invade. So I have 8 unit strength in invade already in my favor. And then also, it's the unit strength 4 unit that he's going to be trying to focus on. So I'm thinking maybe he will try and shoot it for a turn as I run up onto this hill here in the first turn. And I'm okay with that because he shouldn't be able to kill it. And then I'll just keep running it and get it behind the forest, and then he can't shoot it anymore. So that's just loosely what I was planning. So we go and Josh gets first turn. And then on the right here, my plan is basically the spear phalanx are just going to run forward, block stuff up, and prevent him from coming across the line as I threaten flanking through these guys here running up, and then they can go either way. Also, put pressure on the shooting fast. So he gets first turn. He shoots. He kills a hero, the hero that I had put there. That's all right. He does like 4 or 5 wounds to the bowman horde, and they're fine. So that's pretty much it. He didn't really move anything else because he's kind of stuck in a corner. So my turn. I move up quite aggressively with everybody. Just run straight forward is the idea. And I put my champion in position to be able to charge over here. This is after shooting. I did get lucky and killed a bolt thrower that was in cover. Just ran these guys up. And I moved the bowman up. So the bowman moved up, had cover, so half shots. And then the 2 bolt thrower shots are what really did the damage into his bolt thrower as well. So got to kill that, which is nice because I'm in position to where my knight champion and my lord here can each charge one of the other bolt throwers this next turn and finish that up. And I'm not too afraid of the counterattack that he has because these Huskarls are not going to be in range. And Josh's turn 2. He decides to run the ice elementals through, runs these pack hunters through to help protect his higher unit strength units, I think. I'm not exactly sure the thought process, but either way, they're, thicker chaff. So he runs them through. He starts shooting some more, get some frozen tokens out there. He's putting wounds on a lot of different things with his shooting. Yeah, nothing's dying though, so that's good for me. And then, yep, so frozen tokens are those little blue counters. He gave me these green counters for the bark skin. So his shooting was actually pretty decent in this turn. It's just that it was all so spread out. So 4 wounds here, a couple wounds on the giant, a couple wounds on the spear phalanx, a couple wounds on this giant. It all just kind of it'll matter because I don't have any heal, but it just didn't do much this turn. So my turn 2, I am gonna finish off this shooting battery over here, and so I charge. The rest of these guys up. I keep moving the bowman up because there's no reason not to at this point. I think they might have marched this turn, possibly. Just to, because I want them up here for invade, and then also there's not going to be any targets to shoot over here, so they need to get line of sight and range against the rest of this stuff eventually. I'm sorry about that. So, and then I engage on the right flank here, and yep, position over here. So make it to where he can't charge me. I'm getting flank opportunities in the future as well. So all pretty good stuff. Combat sees me kill both bolt throwers. Um, yeah, pretty right there. The ice skin hunters can charge my character if they want, but they can't see anybody else. So, and then we all just kind of stick here. Um, yeah, I should have thought about this a little more. Maybe I should have double charged, like into this unit with the character and the giant. Um, I was kind of hoping the giant did more, but this was a time where the giant, even though getting in there against a unit affected by Slayer, just didn't really do much, or as much as I would hope. So everything kind of sticks. I do 2 wounds to the pack hunters and waver them, 3 wounds to this unit. I forget how many to these guys. It was like 6 maybe, which isn't bad, I guess. It's yeah. But with the rally, those regiments are actually a -15, so they're really tough to move. Yeah, so already winning invade. Got that going. So he does maneuver in position to charge my knight champion with the unit. He moves the individual up so that he doesn't have to get hindered. So good move for him. And then just repositions like so. He is positioned to where my cav are in his flank. I can't fit in the flank, so using the terrain. And then kind of maneuvers a little bit more, looks towards the center with these guys and starts moving them. Yeah. So this is what it looks like for bottom of 3 for me, and the giant over here. Um, Hindsight's 2020. I probably don't even need to do this, but I went ahead and did it anyway. So yeah, and then finishing off this troop over here. We're going to put some shots into these Huskarls. So the idea being that these guys, well, one, the Huskarls can't come out because of these guys protecting that. And two, these guys should be able to charge the Huskarls after I soften them up with some shooting eventually, and then crack this open. So Harem's the only one kind of covering that flank right now, but nobody else is overwatching that at all. So yeah, that's a little bit what it looks like. This mess over here. So he countercharged my general. So on the countercharge to the general, he actually failed to wound me in the first round of combat here. So I had the opportunity to fly over, but I don't think it's actually going to serve me well because everything was in the front or I couldn't fit in the flank. Uh, I'm not touching the forest, so I can't see past over here into these units. So I could have just flown over and positioned myself like here facing this way, but um, my thought was I keep my Thunderous intact, so I only did 3 wounds the first turn, which, is alright. I probably should do closer to 4 or 5 against them on a charge, but I'm thinking, I should do 4 or 5 and I have a decent chance of breaking them, but maybe jumping the line was a better opportunity. I also know he has these individuals that'll come knock me out of the sky as well. So jumping the line isn't guaranteed to get me a better opportunity. So, but yeah, and then as you can see, overcommitted onto these ice elementals, a flank, a front with giants, and then a front with these guys. So Actually, I think I did countercharge the individual with this giant here. This was in my favor. And then to help protect me, I just charged the Pegasus into the regiment of Ice Skin Hunters. So yeah. After combat, I did kill the pack hunters and I overran up to here. The main reasoning behind that was his knight champion individual would have been able to come into the general, um, which I didn't want. And then also with where I'm positioned, he actually can't charge the spear phalanx in the flank because there's just no room to do so. I do kill the ice elementals right there, and I end up backing up the giant. Giant's still facing forward, so towards where the ice elementals were. I know the horde can't hit me, and I blocked this up, so I should be, fairly safe with that. But um, right about here, I did see kind of the mistake in my game plan or ways that I should have been able to see this or consider it beforehand. And Josh is good; he's gonna pick up on it, so we'll see it here. But yeah, the I'm doing what I want, which is just holding him back in the corner, win the invade scenario, and then ideally win the kill scenario based off unit strength. I don't expect that I'm going to be able to actually kill this horde. There's just too much stuff to chew through. And by the time I chew through any of this, his Scarls will actually be able to kill my stuff. So at this point, it's just more of delay and grind and prevent the Huskarls and the horde from getting into combat as much as possible. I do kill the troop and reform like so to look back. The I did need to kill this troop in order to get the knight champion out of range, and 2-inch overrun got me out of range of these Huskarls. The knight champion had 4 wounds. He regened a couple, and then I popped the healing brew, so he's only down to 1 right now. So this is what it looks like at the beginning of turn 4 for Josh. And this is what it looks like after he moves. So get a little deep dive into here. He just backs up over here. Um, yep. And then you'll notice on this side, the big thing is Harim could get in. So he had to move a couple jigsaw puzzle pieces here, but he had to back these guys up so that he could sidestep the horde, and then Harim could get through the gap and get into the flank of my giant, because again he is facing to the right. But that was the mistake. I don't think I needed this giant into the flank of the ice elementals. I think if I just double charged the front of the ice elementals, it would have been fine. And even if I don't kill him, it's not the end of the world. I'm still maintaining the pressure of a flank from the giant at any point that I choose. So, and I probably wouldn't have even had to take the Pegasus in at that point either. So. But it's all right. It's not the end of the world here. So after combat, we see him killing my giant, as we expect. He has this giant up to 14 wounds and wavers it, but Fury for giants, obviously, we're going to be all right. And yeah, he does do a couple wounds to the Lord over there. So bottom 4 for me looks like this. He did back up with Harim, which did get him in a safe position. Harim is facing forward, so we know that. So I decide to maneuver like so. I had done like 4 wounds to the Huskarls, and I thought it was just a little bit dicey to bring in my general and my um, individual, especially when I don't have any other great shots. So I was looking and I'm like, okay, I'll have the individual clean up the Ice Queen this turn, and then hopefully I get another 3 or 4 wounds on the Huskarls, and we'll be good to double charge them the next turn. So that was kind of my thought process here, but you know maybe it would have been fine just to go in there, get dirty, because Harim coming up this way, the one downside for Josh is that he has nobody backing up this unit then. So if I would have broken this unit on a double charge, it really opens up opportunities for me and takes some pressure off the front line that's heavily damaged right now. So don't think it don't think it's really a mistake, but it could have been an opportunity that was overlooked. I felt like I was winning the scenario though, and it may have just been a risk that it wasn't needed. Because last thing I need is for him to charge into the individual, kill it, overrun, charge into the general, and kill him too. Um, so that is the risk that you run, especially against Hiscarls with Fury and whatnot. So yeah, a little closer looks here. Again, so my positioning with Spear Phalanx was in the flank of the Ice Elementals. However, I could not fit due to my own units being the giant. So I had to back up in order to be able to get a legal charge this next turn. I go into the flank and double front with the captain and the Pegasus into the regiment of Icekin hunters who are already damaged. And I position the Beast Cav in such a way that Harim could see me, but it was in the flank, so Harim couldn't fit. Yeah, and then I can see like just past, so I can see Harim's corner here and over into there. So post combat, I'm just sucking it up over here. These guys are only on 4 wounds right now. I've been in combat with them for 3 turns. It's just awful. Anyway, I don't kill the individual, so his Knight Champion has Iron Resolve 2 and Radiance of Life, and so the 4 wounds I did with the giant the turn before went down to 1. So I try to kill the little guy, the Thane. There's only like an 11-13, and I think I whiffed pretty bad with that as well. So, but I did kill the Icekin Hunters and backed up with the Spear Phalanx. So the reform is looking like this again, just still keeping that wall and threatening with the Beast Cav this time, since we threw the giant in there last time. So, still feel pretty good about my positioning. But, yeah, so I did kill the Ice Queen as well. So with this, uh, we're going to see it right here. So with this, this Huskarl unit's behind the building. I can't really see it that well, but I also just completely blanked on the possibility of them being able to charge me, and I wasn't positioned in such a way that I blocked it off with the building. There's a good half-inch there that he's connecting with me, so. And my shooting did like 3 more wounds, so these guys are up to like 7 wounds, which is decent, but I did not get a waiver on them. So I could have, if I got the waiver, this mistake wouldn't have been exploited. But this is definitely a mistake that I shouldn't have made. This is definitely going to open up opportunities in the game that shouldn't have been there, and I should be in complete control of everything right now. But with the flank from Huskarls, and this unit was already on 4 wounds, they're also getting Chilling Presence aura from Harem, so he's got Vicious with them. It it's just a recipe for disaster at this point. So not not a good play on my part. Definitely got sloppy at the end here. But yeah, this is Josh's turn 5, I want to say. So he does that. He also double charges the captain that's here with the Icekin Hunters and Harim, who again was facing down. And then the Horde charges the Pegasus, which was they were in the front. So and then just naturally moves these guys forward a little bit as well. And keeps the counter charging up, and it's going to try and kill the giant again this turn. So naturally, we lost the Beast Cav without them doing anything. It wasn't their fault this time. They've been rolling like shit all tournament, I feel like, but I actually made the mistake. So, my bad, guys. You fail me for 4 games, I'll fail you for 1. So, I think that's fair. And then in the center here, everything else died that he touched except for the giant. I think this might be a little early. But he killed the peg, turned, he killed the captain, turned. Yeah, I think, yeah, we didn't do that yet. So, yep, turn. All is good. I think he was locked for some reason with. Oh, I had wavered. No, no, no. I don't know why he didn't reform these guys. Yeah. If he felt like he was in the way or something was in the way. Either way, um, this is how it ended up. So my turn, bottom 5. I go ahead and try and clear some stuff up. I'm giving these overviews like something's going to change over here. I just positioned to get all 3 of these terrain pieces and be on this side of the board. And this unit's also on the invaded side of the board and controlling that terrain piece. So I'm already planning on winning the invade and the terrain of the scenario. So I double charge there, and I double charge here with the general. This is just sad that it's still on 3 wounds. It's been healing a couple times from the Radiance of Life from the Knight Champion, but I've done 5, maybe 6 wounds to that unit over 4 rounds of combat with a general on Wing Beast. It's just been awful, so sad. Um, yeah, and then I take the flank of the already slightly injured. What are they called? Icekin Hunters. Yep. So we kill the Huskarls and do a little bit of reform. We actually kill the Ice Elementals. The Spear Phalanx apparently is what was needed. They go ahead and run forward a little bit, still within the. Or no, I backed up with the this guy, I think. No, so I did run forward a little bit here. I pivoted the general on Wing Beast to look in towards the forest. So yeah, it's not like he's going to do anything with how he's been rolling, but yeah. And then I did not kill the Icekin Hunters. I might have gotten a waiver, but either way. So top 6 for Josh here, and he moves like so. So not much. These guys are turned around, protecting his rear from being invaded. Perfectly fine at that. He backs off with the wavered unit. He double charges the spears. He charges the front of the spears and the flank this way. My general is still providing inspiring for both those guys, and they each have 2, 3 wounds on them. So the big hitters are coming into the front, so I expect that they should be able to survive. But neither of them survive. So that's where everybody ends up. At this point, though, I'm adding up unit strength, and I'm ahead on the unit strength for kills still. As I think it was by 2 at this point. So as long as I don't give him 2 unit strength for a tie, I'll get that victory point. So I kind of position and just kind of I'm gonna take what I'm given at this point, just in case there's a turn 7. So my general over here just flies over the unit and faces this way, so only the individuals can come charge me. It's also kind of a bait. I want his knight champion to charge me, hoping to kill me, because if there is a turn 7, his knight champion could come to the invade side, which is worth a battle point for him, as well as denying me a battle point. So I'd rather him come kill, 1 unit strength general that's not going to change any scenario points for me. Um, but yeah, that's also part of the bait. So anyway, so no combat, just shooting. But shooting did see me take off the regiment of Icekin hunters. So with that, I'm safely in the lead when it comes to kill for unit strength, and there's definitely no way that he can bounce back. So Josh does do the smart play. He brings his knight champion across for invade, even though he's not going to win invade or deny me the my guy on that side. He's going to get a point at the very least. So and then he charged the Thane into the already injured guy over here in attempts to get some more kill points, but it doesn't work out. And I bottom 7. I don't really have anything. Harim's not injured. The only thing slightly injured is like 3 wounds on this horde. There's just nothing that's going to change at this point. My shooting, I go ahead take shots at the horde just because it's statistically possible, but very improbable. And then I also have moved, so I'm still controlling enough terrain pieces. So I know he has 1, 2 pieces of terrain. I win that with these 3 over here. So terrain's on my side. I go ahead and I end up killing the Thane for a little bit of points. Since again it's theoretically possible, I double charge Harim. It doesn't take me out of the invade scenario for both of these, so I might as well just roll some dice, see if I get lucky. I do not get lucky. Well, I'd have to get extremely lucky, so it's not like I wasn't. It was unlucky. It was just statistically average. Um, yeah, so that's where the game ends. I end up getting, I believe it's 6 points total. So I got 1 for kill because I just won the scenario, but I didn't double, and neither of us killed our unit strength 4 units. And then I got 2 for invade because I wasn't able to prevent his individual from coming across. So I got 3 for the scenario, and Josh got 1 because he has his individual across. And then I had 2 for attrition, and I had 1 for the terrain. So all in all, I think it was 6-2 in my favor. So a reasonable win. I had a couple mistakes there that I think cost me a couple more points of attrition, or a couple more victory points. Maybe 1 more point of attrition was attainable, and then it's also very possible that I would have been able to kill or prevent his knight champion from getting across if I had the kind of the heavy hitters that I was keeping in reserve still. So all in all, great game. Again, first time that I've actually played Josh in recent memory, and first time I played against the 2023 Varnger. Um, Not really much difference, I felt like, just the way it kind of turned out. The Huskarls really didn't get into combat, so the Tundra Fighter rule really wasn't a big deal. The only other unit that had Tundra Fighter was the Thane, that has 3 attacks and is in there for rally mostly anyway. So um, I don't know. I didn't see much of difference, and I don't know if that's on purpose, but I still feel like the Army and Northern Alliance in general is strong, and I think what Josh is taking is good. Um, Again, the Horde didn't see much combat, but I see the potential for those units, and I like what I see. I just wish that this was a battle report to really get the examples on paper. So in the end, I think good game with Josh. I appreciate him, bringing his wife and kid to distract him in the early stages of the game. That's always encouraged as an opponent. But in all seriousness, Josh did say he was definitely distracted with his kid being there at the early stages. So he was like, just started to deploy in a corner, and I just felt like I had no choice but not to continue deploying the corner. And um, I think that if we were playing it over again with no distractions, Josh probably would have tried something else. He also said that he was playing Invade for 4 out of his 5 games, which makes sense because he was one of the only armies there that was a shooting army. I would say, with 3 bolt throwers, 2 ice hunters, a pack hunter troop, it's it's a clear choice for the invade scenario. And when there's not many other armies out there that are, potentially taking that scenario away from the opponent's choice, you're going to see it almost every game. So. Uh, Unfortunate for Josh. It just didn't work out with that, and he, had to play the same scenario multiple times. But I think that his army as a whole, and then the way he plays, it is good. He's definitely got this army working for him really well. And it shows, being on the top table at the end of the tournament here. Um, was a pretty big accomplishment. So in the end, Jeff Shokin won the event. He actually ended up coming back and jumping me in battle points. He finished with 39 of 50 battle points, and I was his only loss. And I think I finished with 38 battle points, with 4 wins and a draw. So very happy with the end results of the tournament for the Kingdoms of Men, and I took away best general since Jeff took best overall. So very happy to have gotten that with the Kingdoms of Men. Was much more than what I expected. Uh, in reflection, I think that the army does have very key strong units. I think the strongest units that anybody can be taking if you were to play Kingdoms of Men is regiments of spear phalanx. Those guys really unlock the rest of the army to be able to get in positions that make them just better off to win scenarios and to win games. So would highly recommend the spear phalanx in the regiment size for the price point. Can't beat it. They actually, with hitting on 4s, they actually do a little enough with the support of the other units in the army to really, even put out a offensive potential. I wouldn't go as far as to put magic items on them to make them more killy. I think just keep them cheap the way they are is the way to go. And I don't even like putting Indomitable Will on them because their goal is not to do damage. The damage that they do is just a bonus. Their goal is to just simply be alive. And Indomitable Will isn't needed. Fury isn't needed. Bruise Strength isn't needed. Even though it looks good on paper, I think you keep them cheap. And then the flying characters, the two generals on Winged Beast, the two heroes, were absolute money the whole tournament when it came to scenario play, especially. So I think those are real keys to success. The captain, take him or leave him. I don't think he's a key ingredient in the army. The rally one's always nice, and that's really the main reason I would take him. The redeploy isn't necessary, and I don't think is great. So um, it is what it is. And I was also very happily surprised with the ballistas that I had for their points. Those were well worth it. The Horde of Bowmen as well, with the support of the ballistas, I think was just enough shooting to, as we saw in several games, to spike a little bit, spike enough, take out a chaff unit, take out a war machine, things like that, which was very useful in this army and in this particular tournament. So um, the unit that I think was the biggest disappointment is definitely the Beast Cav. Obviously, in this last game, I made the mistake. I threw them away. But every other game leading up to this, they did not do as much as I would expect. And you know, doing the math after the fact, they were rolling below average. They were performing below average. So if they were performing at averages, I'd probably feel different. But for their points, they just do not do enough. 255 points for the kit that I have is pretty awful. So likely going to be removing them from the army and any future builds of it. Uh, and then I think the last unit to really talk about is the Giants. Uh, Giants came out swinging strong that first game. They were MVPs, just murdering stuff left and right. There's been a couple of games where you look at it and you're like, man, I had opportunities. I wish they would have shown up, but I think overall the nerve that they provide and the staying power that they provide, and they just soaked up wounds when it came to shooting as well. When I have so many other very fragile pieces in this army that are likely better targets for people to be shooting at, the Giants just took the brunt of it. So I I like the Giants. I don't think I'm removing the Giants. Two Giants will be in the Kingdoms of Men list going forward. And I do expect to play them in the next event, which will be coming up very shortly. So I'll be going to Bison Brawl, so keep an eye out for the next videos on that. Uh, all in all, again, had a great time at Lady Lake. It is a staple in our tournament cycle. We always make it up to Duluth. Chris Kapsner runs an excellent event. I can't say enough good things. If you guys are on the fence or looking for a new event, Duluth, Minnesota, Lady Lake is the one you should be looking at. So, really appreciate everything Chris did, and I really appreciate everybody for watching these games and hearing me ramble on. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now, but like I said, keep a lookout. There's going to be a lot of tournaments to come. I have 5 more here coming up in the next 2 months. So there's going to be a lot of videos, and I appreciate everybody for watching. So until next time, keep countercharging. It's just bad habit.